Hello everybody and welcome back to today's video. Today we'll be taking a look at the 2023 Kentucky governor's election and offering my prediction and analysis to this race. Now first off, let's give some background information. Andy Beshear is the current governor of the state of Kentucky. He will be facing Daniel Cameron in the general election. Now back in 2019, Andy Beshear won his first term by defeating very unpopular incumbent Matt Bevin by just over zero point 0.3 percentage points. This was a very close race. Really, bet of pundits and prediction markets had this race really as a toss-up. Now, Andy Beshear and his name is not really unfamiliar. In fact, in 2011, just 8 years ago, or 2 election cycles ago from 2019, Steve Beshear pretty much swept the state with 55% of the vote against 35%, with just a Republican holding this small amount of the vote in an otherwise very Republican state. In 2020, Democrats lost the state to Republicans by 26 percentage points, 62% to 36%. As you can see, the map is very red. Joe Biden did win the two largest counties in the state, Jefferson County, where Louisville is located, and where Lexington is located, which is Fayette County. However, Republicans won all the remainder counties, and by pretty substantial margins. You can see many of the Kentucky rural areas, close to 90% of the vote in some instances, went to Donald Trump. So this state is a very conservative state on the presidential level, on the Senate level, and on pretty much all the levels, except the governor's level, where Andy Beshear did win in 2019. Now offering my analysis. Andy Beshear in this race and Daniel Cameron both have a realistic shot of winning. If we look at the Democratic primary, obviously Andy Beshear did end up sweeping it with more than 90% of the vote. And in the Republican primary, Daniel Cameron also did quite well actually, winning 47.7%, nearly a majority with so many candidates on the ballot. If you look at some of the general election predictions, we do see four: the Cook Political Report, Inside Elections, Sabato's Crystal Ball, and Elections Daily. Now, three of these have it as lean or tilt Democratic: the Cook Political Report, Inside Elections, and Sabato's Crystal Ball. Election Daily has it as a toss-up. Now, some of these are not really very updated. The only one that's really updated is Inside Elections. Now, the endorsements, nothing really special here. If you look at the polling in this race, Andy Beshear is definitely the favorite in this race. We see that Andy Beshear has won every one of these polls against Daniel Cameron, with the exception of one, which is a Republican intern, which has this race as a draw. Now we see that 3 Republican interns' public opinion strategies and coefficient have actually taken polls and suggested that Democratic Andy Beshear is actually ahead. Now, we don't really see many credible polls here. We see that all of these polls are interns, and the only one that isn't intern is Mason-Dixon, and this poll was taken about 8 months ago, just under 8 months ago, so definitely not the most credible polling. Nonetheless, because Democratic and Republican interns have polled this race, it does seem pretty solid of a conclusion that Andy Beshear, as of right now, is favored to win this race, but many people do expect it to be closer than a 10-point margin. At the end of the day, Biden lost the state by 26 percentage points. So this comes to my prediction now. Now this is the county map. Now this is actually pretty similar to what we saw in 2019. In fact, I'll show you the results in 2019. In 2019, this was the county map. This is my prediction. We see some pretty large similarities. We see that Democrats are going to win Jefferson and Fayette County. These are 2 of the largest counties in the state. We see in terms of the congressional district results, Democrats only won 2 of the 6 in the last election, however by some of the more solid margins. And in this election, probably according to this map, it will be more or less of the same. Now time to reveal my prediction and offer my analysis as to why this is my prediction. We see that Democrats do end up winning by 1.17%, or according to my margins, a tilt margin by just 24,000 votes. Nonetheless, this is substantially larger of a margin for Andy Beshear than what it was in the last election cycle, which was just 5,000 votes. Now, why do I think Andy Beshear is going to win? Well, we don't have that much information, but Andy Beshear was able to defeat an incumbent. Obviously, Matt Bevin is not the most popular incumbent, but he is still nonetheless an incumbent, something that's pretty important in governor elections. We do see that in polling. We do see that Democrats have pretty much won all the polling, except one, which was taken by a Republican intern. We do see that, according to the predictions, these are all lean or tilt Democratic, except one, which has it as a toss-up. We see that the Beshear name is actually pretty popular in the state, and Beshear is also one of the most popular governors across all of the United States. And if we look at just some of the results now, the one thing that was going for Daniel Cameron was the fact that the state is very Republican, and the fact that polarization has become a problem in the United States. Nonetheless, I don't think the Republicans could actually end up winning the state as of right now. Now, it's still very close. I'd say Republicans have around a 40% chance of actually winning the state. But as of right now, I just do believe that Andy Beshear is probably going to defeat Daniel Cameron. Now, things could change. This race, there's a lot of uncertainty. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.